Yo, what up? It's your boy. We back at it again. Second Throwback Thursday, 410 Josh, hip hop _4123. Make sure if you haven't done this already, go to my YouTube page, 410 Josh. Like, share, subscribe, comment, interact with me. Hit me in the inbox or the chat. So, this is our second Throwback Thursday. Got a lot of good feedback from the first one. So now we about to jump into the second one, and I'm really excited about it. We got two legendary hip hop artists with two legendary classic albums, one for the females and one for the males. You know, we gotta give them equally their flowers. So the first one, we're gonna jump right into it, is Chicago legend. And one of the top female rappers of all time, the Brat, her debut album Funkdafied, which dropped in 1994, June 28th to be exact. So I give a little history on this album with me. I was about 11, 12 years old when this dropped. First time I heard of the Brat was the song, her single Funkdafied. It was actually in the car with my father, and it came on the radio, and the beat was just so hard because they had a real West Coast vibe. And I thought she was from, the West Coast, because she sounded like she could be down with Dre and Snoop. And the one thing I always loved about the Brat is she came out spitting. She came out spitting hard. Like, she wasn't, just, trying to wing it and, trying to say just clever. It's like she was coming out hard. She was spitting, gangster shit over these really, G-funk type, gangster rap, this gangster rap sound. But she's from Chicago, the West Side to be exact. So when I heard the song, I heard Funkdafied for the first time, I'm like, I like this, and then, later on, when the album dropped, I took my little allowance, that I had, and I bought the cassette tape. And I'm going to tell you, I really love that album. I still love this album. It's definitely a certified classic. If you're talking about the Chicago scene of hip hop, you can't talk about Chicago scene of hip hop without mentioning her. Even as far as, the album releases, it might be a top 5 best album from Chicago, of all time. You can throw Common and Kanye, Twister, whoever you want, do or die. But the Brat, Funkdafied, definitely up there. So many, classic, she got some classic joints on there. We talked about Funkdafied, For All Y'all with Candy. That's another banger. And Give It To You. One thing that I did notice about this album is that a lot of the females really liked this. Even though she came out tomboyish, they really did like it because they was like, damn, she really spitting. So it's like she could get on the record at that time with the elites of the elites. And speaking of that, she did a record called The B-Side with the Notorious B.I.G., rest in peace. And that's actually, I think, top 3, one of her best songs ever. And, the way she was keeping up with Big on that record, it was like, okay, this girl is not playing. Like, she came on here to really do some damage. So I really enjoyed that album. You got another B-side single that she had was Mind Blowing. That was another banger, real West Coast, G-funk vibe. If you listen to the album, it really sounds like she was really influenced by Doggy Style and The Chronic. The way Jermaine Dupri produced this album, you would have really thought, like, is she signed to Death Row? Because she's got all the nuances of being a classic West Coast artist, but she's from Chicago. So this album definitely, I recommend everybody go back and listen to it. I recommend, if you don't have it, if you collect vinyls or cassettes or CDs, go try to get it. Even just go stream it if you don't do that, but definitely this album is a classic. I can't really tell you like how important this was to Chicago, because I mean, you had never heard of a female spitting that hard coming out of Chicago in '94. I'm sure there was other ones, but it was like when she hit the scene, whew, she took off. So that's a definite, banger. Now, as far as, where the Brat is, I also said I wanted to talk about the cultural impact on hip hop and me, and where she is now. I know she had a baby. She's, open lesbian, living her life happily. And, she seems to be doing well for herself. Not sure whether, she's going, drop any more music, because we haven't heard from her in at least a good 15 years musically. But, hopefully one day she hop back in the studio and, give us more, because I still believe that she got it. Sorry about that, y'all. But, she definitely was an impact on, even on me, just taking, females at the time seriously with rap. Because like I said, when this dropped, I was maybe 11, 12 years old. So I was just listening to the guys. But when I heard her, I'm like, oh, okay. These females out here can really get it with the guys. Second album is a very near and dear album to me. This album is, wow, I don't even know how to explain this one to y'all. We're going to go into one of my favorite of all time, Scarface, The Diary. This album, as I said, it's hard to really put into words the impact this album had on me. This is another album that dropped in 1994, October 18th to be exact. The first time I heard this song, again, I was in the car with my father. We were riding, listening to the radio, and the hit single, Never Seen a Man Cry Till You Seen a Man Die, that hit the radio. The beat was so grim and soulful, and the storytelling of that song just made me go, wow. Like, I literally was seeing everything that he was saying in that record. He greets his father with his hands out, rehabilitate his life, glad to be the man's child. The world is different since he's seen it last. Out of jail been 7 years and he's happy being free at last. Listening to those lyrics, I was like, wow, I can really picture what he's saying. And when the album dropped, I mean, certified classic, banger around the board. Top to bottom, there's no skips. I mean, it goes from, the intro, which has the theme song from Scarface, the movie, The White Sheet, No Tears, Jesse James, G's, I Seen a Man Die, Going Down, Hand on the Dead Body with Ice Cube and Devin Dude, Mind Playing Tricks, 94. And what's crazy is when he did his version, a lot of people was comparing the Ghetto Boys version just to his. And they were like, I don't know, maybe, Face could have kept that whole song for itself even back then. But that album, God, I mean, and a lot of these songs, honestly, were, heartfelt to me, because some of these songs, he was literally talking about incidences that I had been through in my life, even as I got older, and even some incidences that I knew other people were going through. So the impact on me, this was one of the first hip hop albums that I had ever brought in my first little collection. I had, Wu-Tang, I had Snoop, I had, Nas, I had Biggie, and I had Scarface. And I think just in CDs alone, I've probably over the years owned at least 12 copies of this CD. It's in my top 10 albums of all time. To be exact, it's number 6. But it's really this is an album. This is a must-have if you collect music. If you are a Scarface, Ghetto Boys fan of Southern hip hop, gangster rap, storytelling, horrorcore, whatever you want to call it. The Scarface, the Diary is a must-have. Like, if you don't have it, you need to have it. Find some way to get it, add it to your playlist. However you gotta get to it, get to it. It was an album that went platinum, and that was really big at the time for the South because the South didn't have a lot of airplay on the East Coast. So to have an album on, go platinum and not have much play on the East Coast, was, a really, really big deal. It impacted me also because, like, when you were a kid, you had these fantasies and dreams about being a rapper. This was one of the albums I was studying to learn how to rap, how to, tell stories and, be as, vivid as possible in a song. So yeah, I recommend everybody get, Scarface, the Diary. Oh, one thing, I'm sorry, I forgot to say about the Brat. Real quick. The Brat Funkdafied is the first platinum album by a female hip hop artist. So for all of, the ones that came before her, and the ones after, she was the very first one to go platinum, so yeah, definitely wanted to, throw that back in. But as far as where Scarface is now, honestly, I'm not sure. Not sure where Face is. I know that he was sick for a while with COVID, and I think he had to get a kidney transplant. He had did a podcast with Willie D for a little bit, and also there was some talks of him, dipping into politics, like running for mayor in Houston. And then, of course, he had the last album he dropped, Deeply Rooted, one of the, most underrated albums, I think, is one for his books. Shout out my man, Rick Carpenter. What's up? What's happening, big bro? Glad to have you on here. I definitely want to give Scarface, the Diary, and the Brat Funkdafied their flowers, their just due. 2 hip hop legends, 2 albums that were really impactful, really influential on hip hop. They both impacted me as a kid, and we just want to give them their flowers, give them their just due. So I'm gonna, look on here and see if we can interact for a little bit, see what we got on here. Let's see, of course, we got the lovely Lynette Stevens. Thank you again for hopping on here. My sister Maria, shout out to you. Nicole, what's going on? Homie Carlos, Brat been good with me. Definitely been good. Gotta see that. Who else on here? My man Giannis, shout out to him. That's one of my guys. When I need to pick somebody's brain for hip hop, I'm definitely calling my mans up. So shout out Giannis. And I do be checking out Ocean's View. So shout out to you and your podcast, man. Let's see, my man Carlos again. Let's see what we got. On her being admitted, Snoop, Clone, JD, been solid. Definitely. Yeah, definitely, bro. Shoot, sorry about this. My phone been acting crazy all day, y'all. So y'all gotta forgive me if it's a little slow getting to the comments. But yeah, Yeah, she definitely was. I wouldn't say clone because that sounds like more of a copycat, but you can tell Funkdafied was clearly influenced by Doggy Style and the Chronic. It's the, you know, it might not have had the features like the Chronic, but the sound, the lyricism, it's definitely there. So yeah. Let's see, Deeply Rooted was beautiful, especially somewhat. Definitely. The whole Deeply Rooted, I really enjoyed that album. My favorite song on that one was God. I love that album. Let's see. Okay. So Lynette, she had Brat, a radio talk show host. Okay, cool. Thanks, Lynette, for letting me know that. So the Brat right now is a radio talk show host, and I see a lot of legends are getting into the media game, and I think that's a good thing because for so long in hip hop, the media has depicted our favorite artists as something that they're not, whether it's interchanging their words and writing them about them in interviews and make them look crazy. So to see our people go from transitioning from artists to media is a good look because now we can control our own narrative. So, okay, some good questions and some good comments and feedback. Definitely got my homegirl Naisha in the building. Appreciate you joining. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's going to wrap it up for this live. I will be back tomorrow for our Friday album releases and album reviews for what's new dropping. So I'm definitely going to be hitting y'all up. Check it out. When this goes up on YouTube, again, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit me on the inbox so we can interact. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. Hip hop _4123, 410 Josh. Y'all know the vibes. To check y'all out and, make sure you go check out the Brat Funkdafied Scarface the Diary. You won't be disappointed.